Awesome. Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Everyone, welcome, welcome. This is Jaime Chapman. And with me today, I have the lovely Kaitlyn Sanders from Premier Talent Partners. She is a wonderful, wonderful resource of information for you military spouses. And we are going to talk about a really cool collaboration that we are doing with Premier Talent Partners. She's going to talk about Premier Talent Partners, who the heck they are, what the heck they do, and how the heck they can help military spouses. So Kaitlyn, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your own background, and then why don't you tell us about Premier Talent Partners?
Perfect. Well, thank you, Jaime, for chatting with me today. We're super excited about this partnership. So just to start kind of with my background, I started off Premier as a contractor myself, was actually quickly moved into a front office manager role with our company, and then moved kind of through the recruiting ranks till I became a recruiter. And then about a year ago, I switched into a marketing coordinator role. So it's a very interesting kind of mix of knowing our populations from a kind of zoomed out perspective, but then also kind of knowing day-to-day what candidates do look for in their job search. So a little about me. As far as Premier, we are a staffing agency. We're shifting more to being more of talent as a service. And with that, we have been in business for 22 years. And we are really just moving into nationwide offering and also remote roles, which I think will be really beneficial for military spouses.
Awesome. And I apologize if anyone hears a baby crying. That's mine.
No worries.
Grandma over there taking care of the baby, and his nursery happens to be right across the hall from here. So there's not a whole lot I can do about that. So Premier Talent Partners came to me. And what really I love about this organization is that Premier Talent Partners has a passion for helping underrepresented demographics in their career searches. And they reached out to me because who do we talk about all the time? Who am I? What do I represent? Military spouses who are one of the top unemployed demographics in the US, despite all of their amazing talents and abilities, because of the lifestyle that we live. And so let's talk about how Premier is able to serve and to help military spouses despite the unique career challenges that we face.
Yeah, so I think that, and we are kind of teasing this right now, but we're working on a proprietary talent platform called Ajna. And Ajna is really where I see the most benefit for military spouses. There's a couple of things that I think would be super beneficial. Starting off, we are kind of changing the game as such, I guess, in a way we're not as tied to the resume as we used to be. So we're moving away from kind of the brick and mortar staffing into really looking at the candidate as a whole. So that's going to be really good for military spouses because, as you know, there's kind of a track record of jumpiness, or you could be kind of labeled as such in the recruiting world, as well as checkered backgrounds. And what this really does is look at you from a kind of zoomed out perspective, considering everything that you bring to the table, and then really working with you to optimize your profile so that you show up in matches with our clients and are really competitive candidates for the roles that they have open.
So my favorite thing about Premier is Ajna, and I have a whole segment coming up with their CEO, Sarah, in a couple of weeks. So if you're interested in learning about more about their software called Ajna, please tune in and watch that one. She's going to deep dive into it. What I love about it is, as she just said, military spouses often come with really bad resumes to no fault of their own, but it's the lifestyle that we live. When you move a lot, your resume says that. And it seems to a recruiter who doesn't know anything about military spouses, the military lifestyle, seems that we're job hoppers, even though we all know that we want to stay there so desperately we can't even stand it. And so Ajna really takes care of some of those. It helps to identify the talents and the abilities of the spouses, as opposed to indicating that there may be red flags there when you leave a job or you have a period of unemployment. So this is a really, really beneficial tool. And I'm so excited to talk about that in a couple of weeks with Sarah, the CEO of Premier Talent Partners. So let's, Kaitlyn, I don't want to hang on Ajna too long since I'm going to do a whole segment on it soon. Let's talk about the types of positions that you have that may be a good fit for military spouses.
Yeah, so in general, we're always looking for any type of administrative positions. A lot of human resources are things that we have coming in the door, but we're really open to backgrounds now and kind of what you're looking into, and we'll take on any role. Right now, as far as the jobs that we have on our desk that might be of interest, we are working on 100% administrative assistant team coordinator role with one of our clients in the tech space in San Francisco. But again, people are really open-minded now to remote roles, so this would be a great one for a military spouse. We're also working on some roles where, let's see, the next one that we would have would be like a senior compensation analyst. So you really have it across the board. We're working on a lot of customer support roles right now, which really only require a client-facing approach in some positions. So for example, a military spouse who might have a retail background, that would be a great way to break your, or kind of put your foot into the corporate space. So those are kind of the hot ones we have right now. As far as, I guess, kind of zoomed out positions that we're always looking for recruiting coordinators, always looking for marketing managers, always looking for people, like I said, in customer service, human resources. And then if you are located in the San Francisco area by any chance, we do have roles here right now that are logistic roles and things where you actually have to be on site, but you can kind of work with your hands a little bit more if that's more your style.
Trying to mute myself and I'm pushing every button but the right one. Let's talk about remote work. Premier has lots and lots of jobs where the positions are available to be remote, or they may be fully remote from the get-go. Let's talk about what trends you might be seeing over there about remote that might benefit a military spouse.
Yeah, so I mean, again, with these roles that are 100% remote, they're really open-minded, as we've seen COVID has kind of shaken things up and really, I think, pushed people in the direction they were already headed. But because companies, even Premier, we've kind of taken ourselves fully offline as far as not being in the office anymore, we're firing on all cylinders, and our clients are also realizing that that's something that their companies can succeed with as well. So for remote spouses, I think the only thing to consider is time zones. We're still kind of limited to that because we haven't gone international yet. But as far as being in the United States, we have a lot of clients who are super open-minded to hiring people wherever, as long as they can get the job done.
All right. Awesome. Do you have any recommended tips that you might give a military spouse if they want to apply in the link that is in this video? Don't go to it yet. Keep watching. Do you have any tips for a military spouse who wants to join your military community or your military spouse talent community? What might you say to them? What might help them stand out as an applicant and as a job seeker?
Well, I think the best thing to do is head to the landing page that we just built out to kind of see the content that we've just started crafting for military spouses. And then I think on the other hand, once you do, if you are someone who wants to move forward and register in AJNA, I would really make sure that you're partnering with your talent success manager. A lot of people feel hesitant to do so, like they think that they're bothering recruiters, whatever. But it's really a two-way street, and we consider that we put as much effort into your job search as you do. And if you really partner with us and communicate what your limitations are, what you're looking for, everything like that, so we know exactly what roles you'd be interested in hearing about, that's, I think, the biggest key to success, is taking your career into your own hands. And just kind of understanding the way staffing agencies work. We're here for your benefit, especially on the candidate side. We are a free service to candidates. Our clients pay us. So it's a really good opportunity to kind of scratch both our backs at the same time. And the more that we can learn about your background, we can better optimize your profile. So you're not only showing up in the job we initially have you in mind for, you can also be considered for a myriad of other openings.
Wonderful advice. So let's talk about addressing red flags, right? So military spouses come with those. We have periods of unemployment. There are gaps on the resume. There's times when we don't have tenure in positions. How might we address some of those red flags through your platform?
So with AJNA, we're kind of under the we feel that it's going to be something that works itself out in the wash because of the way that Ajna looks at candidates. We've put so much work into making sure that it's an unbiased algorithm that we're using. And that actually comes because we've been working in the system for a couple months now, and we're getting ready to open up to clients. But we've gotten really familiar with kind of what we're able to do and what we see. And I think if that doesn't work, just being upfront with the client, being able to advocate on your behalf if it is something that somehow kind of seeps through during the interview process, we can go to them and really give them an insight into who you are behind that platform, behind your resume, to see where you've been, where you are, and where you'd like to go.
Wonderful. We have a lot of comments.
Ooh, perfect.
I want to tell you, if you are watching, thank you. If you are watching now and you have any questions for Miss Kaitlyn, please drop them in there. We can see the comments, but we can't respond to them if you're coming to us from LinkedIn. So we can see the comments. And if you ask us any questions you might have about Premier Talent Partners, about Ajna, about being a military spouse, how to stand out, ask them. And if I don't see them right now this very second, I will be fielding the comments later, and I will be tagging Kaitlyn so she knows to answer your questions. All right.
Definitely.
So you drop comments, tell us you're here, or let us know you're watching. It really, really gives us a direction to go. If you ask us a question, maybe we're overlooking something that we could be telling you that's important. Yeah. So in general, I really, really appreciate everything that Premier Talent Partners is doing. You guys are a wonderful, wonderful group of folks. I've been working with their team behind the scenes for the past few weeks, and they get stuff done. I'm really impressed. They're probably looking at me like, girl, you need to hurry up and,
no. Not at all.
They're awesome. Just from kind of forming a collaboration and a partnership with them to start putting military spouses through their new platform that will open up here pretty soon. I've been so impressed with their team. And as a job seeker, I can only imagine the attentiveness and care that you will receive from them. So I encourage you to at least check it out. Go explore their website. I put the link up here in the comment or in the description of the video. Go check it out. It doesn't hurt a thing. And I always encourage my military spouse job seekers, take a multifaceted approach to your career search. You don't apply to one job and sit there and wait for a month to hear back. Go through multiple platforms, utilize multiple tools, get a mentor, network professionally, utilize staffing agencies, try everything. And so I encourage you, try out this thing as well. Kaitlyn, as we get ready to wrap up our video here, is there any final last words or tips or advice or tricks or anything that you'd like to leave with our military spouses today?
I think just like you said, go about your job search in a very scrappy, kind of proactive approach, but also be open-minded to the different ways that different staffing agencies, different companies are trying to approach hiring. Hiring is a very antiquated industry that we're trying to revolutionize, and there are different ways that people are going about things. So if you see a platform like ours where you're not really asked to do the same things that you have been on traditional applications, be open-minded to the fact that there's a reason behind that. It's because we're trying to break through the barriers that stood in front of hiring basically any candidates, military spouses or not, and create more transparency in the process. We're still here to help you and provide that white glove service to land you in your next position. But while you're kind of getting used to the technology, don't be too scared if it's different than what you've been seeing.
Awesome. I appreciate you, Kaitlyn. Premier Talent Partners is awesome. You guys rock. And if you have any questions, we are going to be ending the video in a second. Drop them in the comments and let us know. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you today.
Thank you, Jaime. We appreciate you just as much.